Good morning everyone. Today I will discuss about water pollution. But before that, let me introduce myself. I am Delberto Cabidi Sorio, your discussants for today's topic. Let me start with a quotation. Water is going to be the hottest issue facing the world in the 21st century. Many of the wars of the century were about oil, but wars of the next century will be over. That is according to Wale Endu and Ismail Churchilden, the Vice President of World Bank. So water pollution could be the driving force for water to become an issue. We all know that 70% of the earth is made up of water, but only 3% of this is fresh water that is available for drinking water and it is being polluted by human beings. So since I mentioned about water pollution, let us define this. Water pollution can be defined as the occurrence of impurities in the water system so that its cleansing process cannot properly function. This reduces the quantity and quality of fresh water that is available for drinking and other necessities for human beings. Water pollution simply is all about the dirtiness of the water system, and the quality and quantity of this changes because of the waste that are being thrown to that area. Next is that most of the water pollutants comes mainly from industries. Most industries, not only in the Philippines, have caused serious problems when they pour agrochemical and livestock waste directly into the rivers and streams. This waste includes solvents and toxic substances, and most of these waste are not biodegradable. Power plants, paper mills, refineries, automobile factories dispose waste into the rivers. So there are factories or industries that produces chemicals for their products and then release it to the rivers without knowing that these chemicals are very harmful for the aquatic plants and animals. The heated water from the power plants are called thermal pollution. This kills aquatic plants and animals by reducing the oxygen content of the water. Power plants use water to cool down their machineries, thus changing the temperature of the water. So water is the very vital source for cooling their machineries. And one of the most worst for this is that once na na-apply na nila ito into their machineries, is nag-change yung temperature ng water. And then, nirelease ito nila back to the source. And so, naapektuhan yung health ng aquatic plants and animals na nandoon sa kanilang pinagkuhanan. Next is that, there are two types of industrial pollutants which can be classified as organic and inorganic pollutants. First is that, organic waste. It includes refuse from slaughterhouses, fish and meat canning factories, and leather tanning companies, manufacturing plants, pesticide and crude oil companies. So since organic wastes are decomposed by microorganisms, much of the dissolved oxygen water is used up and the water begins to stink. Next is that inorganic wastes. It includes toxic and corrosive substances like acids and heavy metals, mercury, cadmium, and lead, which can impair the normal body processes. So organic waste are those wastes that can be decomposed by microorganisms, while inorganic waste are those wastes that cannot be decomposed by microorganisms. Battery manufacturing industries is another factor, which empties lead into the river. Industrial activities, mining, pulp, and paper mills and electrical equipment have increased the concentration of mercury, making the water dangerous and poisonous for most living things. Paint industries, which can produce a highly toxic substances called polychlorinated biphenyl or PCB, and there is no known for removing it into the water. So these industries produces chemicals that are very harmful for the aquatic plants and animals. There are even chemicals that cannot be even parang hindi na makukuha sa water, parang hindi na masiseparate. So these industries must know their responsibilities. Next is the sewage home. The rivers are usually chosen to be both garbage dump and sewer, and because of this, they are polluted. Waste disposal sites are necessary if society will function smoothly. No one wants to live near a waste disposal site, be it sanitary landfill for municipal waste or hazardous waste disposal operation for chemical waste materials. The sewage system carries waste from home and pollutes the water. Human waste can flow into the drinking water supplies and result to form of such diseases like dysentery, cholera, typhoid fever, poliomyelitis, hepatitis, etc. So, we Filipinos, yung rivers natin, parang tinitreat na natin as dump site. So, it should be stopped as water plays a vital role in our life. It is the source of our daily life, like panghugas and pangligo. Next is the farm pesticides. Farm pesticides poison aquatic plants and animals. Animals' manure, chemical fertilizer, phosphate, detergent, pollute water by supplying excess nutrients. This pollution is known as nutrient enrichment or eutrophication. It greatly increases the growth of algae in the water. As a higher quantity of algae grows, larger amount of organisms also die. The algae decomposes and uses large amount of oxygen, causing a drop of oxygen level in the water. Thus, many organisms die. So these pesticides are very harmful for the organisms. So pesticides increases the growth of algae, and this algae uses oxygen level or uses large of oxygen, and then sinasapawan nila yung mga organisms na nandoon sa area na yon. As a result, yung mga organisms that naglo-lose ng oxygen, and then yung algae is nag-reach na ng mga high level of oxygen, inaagawan na nila yung mga organisms na doon. So as a result, parang yung mga sa rivers, pag lumuton, yung mga organisms na nandoon parang nagkakahaltaw or waray dida content ng mga organisms, as algae or alga parang nag-use sila oxygen rather than those organisms na. Next is the reasons why rivers should not be used as sewers. First, excrement carries a number of hazardous microorganisms and the water gets polluted with human feces. Second, too much wildlife nears the rivers and produces more organisms, resulting to more decomposers and reducing the amount of oxygen. Third, some aquatic animals like clams and oysters absorb some concentrate poisonous materials within their bodies. Lastly, polluted water has no attraction for recreational activities. So this is the reasons why rivers should not be used as sewers. So habang ni-use natin as sewers to, nag-iiba yung kanyang quality and then yung quantity. So yung rivers parang di na siya attractive once na naging sewers na natin siya. And also, parang nagtutrukit nga ni plastics, may mga beses na yung mga clams or oysters, inabsorb nila ito, and then yung clams, kinakain natin, and so as a result, parang nagkakaroon tayo ng diseases, or yung diseases from the clams is that natatransfer sa atin yung mga poisonous na kanilang na-intake. So, rivers should not be used as sewers. Next is the marine litters. The threats to marine resources. One of the growing problems in the seashores and in ocean is litter. Marine litter is the collective term for any waste material present in the marine environment. There are many different types of litter that is deposited in our seas and in our beaches. So marine litter is that parang inisiyat ng mga waste na present dito sa marine environment na makita nato. The main sources of litter in the marine environment. First, recreational and tourism related litter. Second, fishing debris. Third, sewage-related debris. Lastly, shipping wastes. So, ito yung mga sources ng mga litter in the marine environment. And for the continuation of this topic, Mary Jean Moonyo will be there to discuss it.
After defining water pollution and knowing its major pollutants, we come now to plastic in seawater and its effects, coral reefs, and all pollution. So, litters of different types that enters the sea from various sources, especially plastics, can be hazardous to wildlife and to people. It can be thrown overboard from boats, discharged from sewage, and carried down to rivers and seas. Other materials such as medical waste, tin cans, glass bottles, and plastics are said to be the biggest threat to wildlife and people. Due to their light weight, many items float on the surface of the sea or on the seashore. These floating debris can be carried by distances by ocean current to other foreign countries, thus making marine litter a global. So, these plastics are considered to be hazardous to people and to wildlife. So, here we go to the effects of plastics and marine life. So, marine animals mistake plastic items to be food, which if indigested can cause starvation poisoning. So, the plastic that is eaten by animals can poison the animals. So, plastic debris can accumulate in the guts and pass to the digestive system. The aquatic animals may be entangled with lost net, strapping bands, drink cans, and ropes and can cause wounds in their flesh, a strangulation, and drowning. So, these plastics, these wastes coming from people can kill our animals such as fishes. So, oil pollution in aquatic environment. The main source of oil pollution in the water is the oil spill from the ships. The routine operations such as leaks at installation tanker terminal and coastal refineries and operational discharge from tankers and other vessels at sea. Oil escapes to the sea by routine tank cleaning as it's deliberately released into sea, killing all aquatic life because of its toxic effects. So the oil that is being released by ships are considered also to be harmful and dangerous to our animals such as the fishes, killing all aquatic life because of its toxic effects. Oil is lethal to plankton and fish, larvae and others. So here we go to coral reefs. Coral reefs, we know that coral reefs are very important to people. Coral reefs are the marine equivalent of rainforest, one of the essential life support systems necessary for human survival, home of huge number of plants and animals. So it is considered to be important to plants and animals because it serves as the home of our animals and plants in the seawater. So here we go to the coastal problems in the Philippines. Almost every coastal area in the Philippines has a problem. Human activities have destroyed the coral reefs by cyanide fishing. So we are all familiar of cyanide, which is one of the reason of the extinction of the coral reefs. And if this will continue to happen, plants and animals can't survive anymore because they lost already their homes because of the toxic chemicals coming from the cyanide. So each year, an estimated 330,000 pounds of cyanide is sprayed on the Philippine coral reefs alone. Cyanide is used to stun the fishing hiding among the coral reefs so they can be collected easily. But the coral reefs, other plants and animals die quickly due to this poison. Cyanide keeps the coral reef structure intact but dead. So here we go to the Moro-Ame method, which differs to cyanide fishing. So Moro-Ame method is another reason for the disappearance of coral reefs in the Philippine waters. The fishes are flushed out of hiding and herded into the nets, shattering the fish habitats. Moro-Ame is illegal but still practiced in Palawan, and it is named as paaling, which is legal. So the effects of oil in coral reefs. So, one of the most common and most damaging forms of pollution is sediment runoff, which kills some of the corals. The sediment often comes from deforestation and the development near the coast. So this could be the infrastructures or the factories that releases a oil to different bodies of water. Oil and petroleum products are dumped into the coastal waters eventually find their way to the reefs, thereby poisoning coral polyps and other marine life. Trash dumped into ocean can also cover coral reefs, blocking from the sunlight we need to keep alive. So because of these oils that are found in seawater, this traps the sunlight that is needed by the corals. So here we go to the pollution and the river loss of aquatic species in rivers. So aside from seawater, rivers and streams are also affected by this pollution. Rivers and streams have also been a target of dumping sewage and industrial waste. Many of the rivers and industrial areas are so polluted that every few species of plants and animals can survive and live in them. Many freshwater invertebrates and fishes are found only in individual lakes and rivers and they are vulnerable to habitat loss and pollution. Construction of dams, channeling of streams, deforestation have endangered many freshwater species. So damage to drainage and irrigation system may result to the increased salinity in different bodies of water such as the rivers, groundwater, estuaries, and other freshwater bodies. So coastal erosion may be accelerated. The Philippines coastal ecosystem and country's mangrove stand are much affected, critical as they already are from the misuse and pollution. Also, mines are the major sources of river pollution according to the Interagency Commission on Environmental Protection. There are 25 mining firms that emit 100,000 tons of mines tailing every day into the rivers, damaging some ricelands in the country. So, these mines are very harmful to people, especially to the living of the people, because the ricelands are one of the source of living of the people in a certain area. So if this is affected, then the people will get a problem in sustaining their daily needs. So the pollutant mine tailings contain acids, alkali, cyanides, and many more. So the deadliest heavy metal pollutant from mine tailings contains very small amount of mercury. However, the elements gradually accumulate and become a major hazard to the health of the people. Also, the health of the people is being affected because of mining. So that was all about our report for today in water pollution. I hope that everybody will take good care of different bodies of water. Stop contributing to the wastes. Be the one who collects the wastes. Thank you.